that is a filthy move. A move so good that this game got voted Game of the Year 2019. How can you possibly get away with this? Let's rewind. Prepare yourself for a masterpiece. This is how it started off. King's Indian defense. Murali Karthikeyan daring to play it against Alireza Firouzja, who himself loves the King's Indian defence. It was 2019, the Asian Continental Cup. Alireza's like, yo, I'm the stronger player here. I'm going to go h3, an aggressive system. This is a classical time control. He brings out the bishop, centre under fire. You can advance the pawn here. He goes with the knight and queen a5. The shenanigans are on the way. Now you can just defend this e4 pawn because it's now attacked. There's a pin here, so it's fake defense. But Alireza doesn't do it. He goes knight d2. Look at the clock times. Let's rewind. He's got an hour and 26 minutes. He uses an hour and 21 minutes to do this. No, he didn't. Clearly the clocks are having a meltdown here. It's such a bad move. I mean, it's not terrible, but you're not developing this. You're moving the same piece twice. Bit of a boo-boo in the opening. You should really capture something like this, let's say. But the bishop's now bounced 1, 2, 3 times. Black has more than equalised. So Alireza didn't take with the bishop. He bounced the knight already, thinking, okay, queen retreats, gobble up the pawn. But no siree. Whack, bang, wallop. What a move. Can you imagine being on the board next to them? This is actual footage from the tournament here. Now, you've given your queen for a minor piece. Fine, you get a second, but that's still only 6 points of material for a 9-point lady. Shouldn't be compatible. If you take the pawn, Alireza didn't do it. Well, black can take here, and you're still saddled with a structure that only a mother could love. Very understandable, therefore, why f3 was played. It is the best move. However, knight h5, taking advantage of the weakened dark squares, opening up the bishop, and it just gets better. Because Alireza goes with the queen, defending the pawn, hitting this one, but it's defended with the bishop, and now he lashes with g4. It's actually not a bad move. Even though it weakens more dark squares, it prepares the onslaught, the shutout of this guy. Now you can't take the pawn, or you run into these kind of discovered tactics. Check, and you're losing your queen. So pawn not touched. Alireza gets on his running sneakers. He's got so many lovely pairs. There he is, the king of fashion. Now we get the knight dropping back here, opening the bishop's defense. Once again, it gets the exclam because it was an only move to keep a serious advantage. What is it? About a pawn to black now, even though you're a queen down. It's a real queen sacrifice, not a pseudo sacrifice, aka you're not getting it back anytime soon. You have to prove the compensation. This lockdown's on the way, so the bishop saves itself. Queen d1 now makes room to make the position even smellier, and it's what we see. After knight c1, every single white piece on the Etienne back row, it's utterly miserable. Now we see the bishop develop. Don't blunder your queen through a skewer to the king, so the pawn pushes onwards here. Rook a c8, the pawn's going to collapse, so we see knight e2. Alireza just chucks it, tries to go for the bishop, but Murali now even understands that he can drop back here, allow pawn g5 and bounce round to a brand new diagonal. His piece is still swarming. These guys poised to just hop into the game like crazy Kermits. Bishop h3 goes for some play down there, and it gives the pawn, which is snaffled off. It allows queen d3 though, since the knight left this square. This is Alireza's point. Knight bouncing back. He does win this annoying pawn. At the sake of this pawn though, don't blunder your queen, and note that black now has 2 pawns, 2 minor pieces for the queen. We're almost at a material balance, but with the queen in the centre, pawn structure a mess, black is better. And now we get the rook lift. Great play there. Rook hb1 given the question mark. Apparently the rook was better there. Okay, this was played. Bishop c6 covers the pawn and attacks the center. Alireza forced into defense here, very stinky, and now a great move, cranking open the position. The time's ticking down. It does allow Alireza to play the overpowered en croissant. He bellows it in his best French accent. He was getting a lot of practice, preparing to move to France. Maybe he was already there at this point, and now you can go queen g3. Cover your bases here a little bit and also maybe look to attack the king. But instead, we see rook f1 and it allows a completely different game, starting with bishop takes on c3. Now, Alireza's seen this discovered attack, of course, but this is what he's got lined up. Queen takes on c5, giving back material. Taken. We get a c-file minor piece kebab. Not every day you see that one. Now we see takes with check. King recaptures. The bishop is captured. Knight's also about to drop, so it retreats here. And once again, I'm highlighting we've got a material imbalance that favors black. So rook against knight and 3 pawns, is it at this stage? 3 pawns, I think. Plus, look at the monumental outposts that they're on. One of these pawns about to drop. You can't save both. So Alireza pushes with this one. Bishop takes is now the better move. Very understandable because you allow the knights to stay on the board. And boy, are they hopping. You know, where do you go? Somewhere. I'm trying to make an illegal move. That's why I'm behind the mic, not at the board. Those knights killing it. But instead we see this one played. Bishop takes and bishop recaptures. This knight now centralizes, desperate for play, but bishop d5 shuts it down. a6 was a nice counterplay idea. Takes and you open the rook a bit. If push, well, knight b5 goes for the base. You can cover, but you start getting a bit tied down, increases the drawing chances. Not played. We get the immediate knight b5. It allows the push. The knight's getting kicked around. Bishop now dropping back. And after check, king g7. Although the knight's hopping and the rook invading, looking aggressive here, you can push. And yes, there's an attack on this pawn, but who cares? This guy dies, and these are connected, running if you allow it. So Alireza takes, very understandable, but king here. Now the knight goes, and there's a new problem, because once the rook gives ground, the central connected pass pawns start doing a job themselves, advancing down the board, kicking the knight now. It has to drop. Bishop e4. I mean, this is just cruel. It's like Rose not sharing the door. Poor guy. Clearly room for 2 on that one. Now we see the advance of the d pawn here. The king centralizes. Look at this solid, staunch pawn formation and piece formation in the center. And after the king goes here, we see resigns. Because if you move the knight anywhere, you're running into this fork. If instead you move the king to try and escape the fork, well, there's king f2. And you're just winning a piece. You know, you can't stay with the defense. You can't get round to defend the rook. If you tried to move the rook away and move earlier, you drop the knight anyway. It's just game over. Completely done. Stunning game. 52 moves there. And if you want to see another game of the year, have a look at the video on screen. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.